Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and on the line with us is Noel Flasterstein, the attorney and Second Amendment gun rights in a Second Amendment gun rights law practice. FLGunlaw.com is his website. You can tweet him at FLGunlaw. And Noel Flasterstein, welcome back to the program. It's been quite some time.
Yes, thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you, Tom. You're the one liberal I respect.
Well, thank you, sir. I won't make jokes at your expense then. I'm sorry, it's terrible. College students carrying guns. You got lawmakers in Arkansas, Florida, South Carolina, and Wyoming deciding whether to allow people to carry firearms in universities. This doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I mean, just a decade ago, we were debating whether people on college campuses should even be drinking, whether the drinking age should be lowered to 18 or not. And I think the broad consensus was, no, they're not quite adults yet. How can you justify arming drunken college freshmen?
Well, that's presuming that if someone's a college person, one, that they're a drunkard, and two, that they're going to have a weapon. I would think that gun owners, some probably drink and some probably don't drink. I know there's...
All it takes is one, sir.
What's that?
All it takes is one.
Takes one drunk student with a gun? Is that what you're
shoot
getting
up
at?
a campus.
The whole point of allowing concealed carry on campus is for those responsible, law-abiding citizens that happen to be going to college, whether they're 21 or 24 or 44. If they want to exercise their Second Amendment just because they enter into a school zone, doesn't mean it should be denied. Now, I guess the basic thinking is, well, kids are irresponsible, or young adults that are in college are irresponsible, and they're going to get drunk and they're going to shoot each other. But this is specifically the reason why we have tragedies like Virginia Tech, like Sandy Hook, which isn't a college campus, but it's a gun-free zone. So the mad person who's meticulously thinking, let me go cause some carnage and damage, where's the best place to go? Should I go to the mall? No, people might be armed. Should I go to the local McDonald's? No, I might run into some armed people there. Oh, college campuses. By law, they're not allowed to have guns there. Let me go there because I'm going to, be able to cause the most havoc. Now, if you permitted students, lawfully that can lawfully carry concealed, and some of them we got to remember are veterans, the military. They're very well versed in firearms and they're very well versed in deadly force and when to use it. This would make the mad people think, well, this isn't a place to go. Otherwise, it's just a gun-free zone is a target zone.
So just to clarify, and you're the lawyer here, I'm not, and I had for 2 years when I lived in Georgia, when I was licensed as a detective after graduating from the Georgia Police Academy, I had a carry permit, a concealed carry permit, although I never concealed carried. I didn't own a gun. But my understanding was that was I carrying a gun, I could go pretty much anywhere I wanted in the state of Georgia, arguably not into a police station without revealing that I was carrying a weapon, and not into the state capitol. But I didn't realize that I could not walk onto a college campus in that state. Is that what you're saying, that you're advocating not for open carry, but concealed carry?
Well, yeah, I think at a very minimum, concealed carry, students.
But isn't concealed carry already legal on most college campuses?
Is it? Say again, I'm sorry.
Isn't concealed carry, in other words, somebody who, most states have somewhat rigorous requirements for a concealed carry license. You've got to demonstrate proficiency. You've got to demonstrate competence. You've got to demonstrate that you have no criminal background. I would like to see liability insurance added to that. So, guns are sort of like cars. You get a license, you get the insurance, and you demonstrate your competence, but it's not. But that seems like a rational filter. Is it not true, though, that in these so-called gun-free zones that you're talking about, that if somebody has a concealed carry permit, they can walk into those places? They can go to class?
No, not by law. You're not allowed to carry a firearm in Florida, which has, very good laws for gun owners and people that cherish the Second Amendment and the Constitution.
Right.
No, you're not allowed to carry a firearm concealed. It's against the law. Now, us and like several other states are are looking to introduce legislation to permit it. And the whole reason this is even in the legislators' mindset is to prevent tragedies like Virginia Tech, like Sandy Hook, because these are places that the deranged know that they can go and they're not going to encounter armed populace.
Noel, how do you deal with the fact, and it's a fact, I know you know this, that the more guns there are in a society, the more deaths there are going to be, and you know, suicides go up as a consequence of the proliferation of guns, as do homicides. How could this, you know, possibly be a good thing for people on college campuses to have people running around with guns?
How could it be a good thing?
Right.
Because when the madman went to Virginia Tech, maybe a faculty member or maybe a student.
There were several armed people at Virginia Tech
who could have prevented him from carrying out the carnage that he did.
There were armed people at Virginia Tech. There were armed people at Navy Yard down here. There were 3 armed people when Gabby Giffords was shot. You know, having people around with weapons isn't going to stop these crazy folks. And although, you know, stopping them from getting guns would be a nice help, except, you know, Donald Trump and the Republicans, I don't know if they succeeded in doing this. I know it was queued up to go to do away with, well, actually, they did succeed in doing it. They said that, you know, it was illegal for people who are so mentally ill that they are 100% disabled on Social Security to own a gun. It was 75,000 people nationwide, and the Trump administration just did away with that rule. Social Security no longer can pass that information along to law enforcement. And
that's presuming that every mental ill person is deranged, out of touch with reality. Well, maybe they just have an issue with depression, and maybe they're grieving excessively over the loss of a pet. This doesn't mean they have the right to protect themselves.
So are you saying that people grieving over the loss of a pet qualify for full Social Security disability?
I don't think mental illness or having mental challenges means you should lose your constitutional rights. Based on what you're saying, that's what you're suggesting.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody is so, and you mentioned depression. I mean, you know, that's what's the major risk factor for depression? It's suicide.
Let's deny them many things. There are plenty of people that have things that would qualify and constitute legally.
So basically, you have no limits. You think that you know, you're not in favor of any kind of rational limits on the ownership of guns.
There's rational limits already in place. If somebody has been committed to a mental institution, they're not allowed to have a firearm under federal law.
But the day they walk out, they can.
But if somebody is receiving benefits because they have an anxiety issue, which have never shown any tendency to create violence, I don't think that's enough.
No, you've never tried to get Social Security. You've never tried to get Social Security disability.
You can't make rational decisions.
I have had friends who have tried to get Social Security disability. It can take, on average, about 2 years to get the claim process. You really have to demonstrate that you are totally disabled. And but in any case, I get what you're saying. Noel Flasterstein, the attorney, Second Amendment gun right law practice, flgunlaw.com. Do you expect to hear the president speaking about this tonight?
About the gun issue?
Yeah.
Who knows what he's going to say regarding that?
Yeah, or anything else for that matter. Yeah, good point. Noel, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, good talking with you. We'll be back. Stick around.